it's Laynie and welcome to my channel. How are you guys doing today? Leave it down below. You know I love hearing from you. I am getting a very late start tonight. It is 8:15 at night, but we have just had a jam-packed, honestly, couple weeks. The time is flying by. We have so many appointments going on. My filming and uploading has been definitely not what it normally is. I really try to be consistent, but man, it has been tough between trips and life and appointments, and my gosh, it's just been a lot. I was like, I'm not gonna have any excuses. Doesn't matter, it's past 8 o'clock at night. I'm coming down and I am filming. I'm so excited to be sitting down and hanging out with you guys. I made a recent purchase. Probably shouldn't have, but I did. Of course, it's perfume. So I'm very excited to talk about it with you guys. This is Vesper Glitz by Nihilo, which just feels swanky to say. So if you want to see my kind of, I want to say like sort of first impressions, because yes, I smelled it in store, but I haven't opened this box or smelled it since, then definitely stick around. If you enjoy fragrance content, beauty content, and a little bit of lifestyle content, sometimes sprinkled on top, then click the subscribe button, join the fam, you won't regret it. And I'm gonna not ramble right now, but I'm sure I will ramble here in just a minute. Let's go. My kiddo is in that final mood of the evening, which is wired tired. Girlfriend is getting tired, but she always gets extra crazy. Do any of your kiddos get like that? Once they get tired, somehow it's like they muster up every ounce of energy they have in their body. So you'll probably hear her hooting, hollering, and jumping around up there. But anyways, we took a trip to Kansas City, Missouri. I always have to put a little extra emphasis on that Missouri part because I personally think the Missouri side is the more fun side. If you've ever been, or if you haven't been, Kansas City, Missouri has a really awesome city. It's one of my favorite cities. Honestly, it's my favorite city in the Midwest. One of my favorite cities in the country. It's easy to get around. There's lots to see, lots to do, and it's more affordable than a lot of cities that you'll travel to. So anyways, we typically take a trip there every year. And so we all went down. It was our friend's trip for the year. We went with our best friend, Dustin, and we just had a great time. And I was so excited because I stumbled on the fact they now have a niche fragrance shop in Kansas City. It's really weird how timing works out sometimes, because as my husband and I were driving back from Florida, we're like chit-chatting. He was like, I'm so surprised Kansas City doesn't have a niche fragrance shop, because I've found one in Miami, I have found one in Nashville, I have found one in Atlanta. He's like, I can't believe Kansas City doesn't have one. I was like, me too. And then bam, I stumble across it a few weeks later online, and I'm like, what? They finally got one. So of course, when we were down for our friend's trip, I had to stop by. If you are in the Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas City, Kansas area, anywhere in the KC metro, then you have to go to Crestwood Shops. There's a store there called George Lifestyle, and Heather Bath, I'm pretty sure that is her last name. I'm fairly certain. I hope I'm right. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but Heather Bath has a niche fragrance shop inside of George Lifestyle. So very cool. She's got a really nice little setup, some great brands. She had all kinds of wonderful brands, and something that I really loved about her is, one, she's very knowledgeable. She actually worked in LA in the perfume industry, but also she just lets you browse and smell and like doesn't make you feel pressured to buy something. I want to just sniff and smell and see if I fall in love with something. I want to be able to look up things on my phone about it. I want my freedom to do that, and she never made me feel pressured at her shop to buy something. And we had the most lovely conversation. I mean, I think I was in there probably an hour and a half for real. Like she probably thought I was moving in. But we had like the nicest talk about motherhood and all the ups and downs, and I felt like we were friends by the end. And I am not super familiar with Nihilo fragrances, and so anyways, I really honestly thought I was going to go in the hopes of picking up a room 1015. There was things that I definitely liked, and I was sniffing and sniffing and sniffing, and then I was like sniffing, and if I liked it, I'd put it in one pile. If I didn't like it, I'd put it in another. And so then I had like this pile of like 6 fragrances that I was like kind of tied between, and then I kept coming back to them, and then I would slowly narrow it down, narrow it down, narrow it down. As I was doing that, the one I kept coming back to was a fragrance I had never heard of. This, I'm just not super familiar with Nihilo. I won't lie, I usually do not spend this much on fragrance, okay? I usually don't. But like I said, I just fell in love with her shop, with the experience, and I kept coming back to this. I will say I'm really liking the style of the package. I love the bright pink outer box, hot pink letters, the gold accents, love it. I really like that this is like a foam container because it makes me feel like it's very safe. It was perfect for traveling back from KC because this thing is pretty sturdy but also soft. And then, oh, look at this. Oh man, this does feel like luxury. I cannot lie. But is part of me like terrified that I'm gonna smell this and have changed my mind? Yes. So I'm nervous. A really nice little card included that tells me about it, which I love. I could read it to you in French. Celebrate, Eve. No, I don't speak French, obviously. I am way too Midwestern for that. Anyways, it says Vesper Glitz celebrates with radiance the airiness of an impertinent night out in Paris. The return of the exiled Parisian after dark, where souls freely melt and flourish in a flaming chaos of chimeric colors. The beauty of a nocturnal sillage in which floral notes of jasmine and mimosa embrace intoxicating emanations of ambery notes. Olfactory notes. It says in the top we have pink pepper, mandarin, neroli. In the heart, ylang ylang, jasmine, mimosa. Base, cedarwood, tonka bean, vanilla, and musk. Honestly, everything in there does sound up my alley. Really heavy duty cap. I love the bright blue inside. Okay. I'm just gonna spray it right on this little card. Very nice, mister, which I really appreciate. Okay, it's nice. It's nice. Yep. It is nice. Oh, she's a beauty. This is even better than I remember, you guys. Wow. This is stunning. If you haven't smelled this, you have got to pick up a sample of Vesper Glitz. Holy moly, you guys. I'm almost stunned right now at how good this is. I knew I liked it in store, but getting to smell it again without all the other noise of scents as I sprayed like 25 fragrances around me, this is just beautiful. This is luxurious. This smells like money. This is so classy. It is so feminine with just the touch of a unisex edge. And that's coming from someone who does not love a super unisex fragrance or something leaning masculine. The right man could absolutely pull this off, but this to me is very feminine, but just has a little oomph with just like a touch of this masculine edge in there. This does smell like the color gold, honestly. It is so beautiful. This is also the type of fragrance that truly smells perfumey. This is a perfume. This one is hard to kind of pick out notes individually. It's not one that really takes me on a ride. You kind of get what you get, at least so far, and everything kind of just melts together beautifully in the notes to create what smells like Vesper Glitz. It is so rich in a luxurious, perfumey way, but it is not syrupy sweet. It's not gourmand. It's not cloying, but this thing performs. I'm not gonna lie. I think this would be like a 4 to 6 spray max. And I think that would be pretty powerful because the 2 sprays was pretty darn strong and really filled the area around me. The pink pepper in here is very subtle. If you do not love pink pepper, I think you would still like this. It is not nearly as in-your-face pink pepper as Glossier You. I think the pink pepper really just adds a beautiful warmth. Like this really does kind of feel like sunshine. It is just warm, like gold sunshine. The opening is a bit brighter than in the mid and dry down, and I think that is from that mandarin and neroli coming together. If you have smelled something like Orientica, I think it was called Melody in the turquoise bottle, that one had kind of that very in-your-face punchy neroli. Neroli to me can be very fruity but also a little bitter if it's not done just perfectly. This neroli really in the opening just pairs beautifully with that mandarin. It makes it very bright and just it kind of lifts you up a bit. And then that ylang ylang I think is the perfect floral. It is rich and buttery. I definitely get a yellow floral vibe in here. Mimosa, I don't know a lot about it, but I feel like when I see a picture of it, it's kind of like a bright fluffy yellow flower, and I think the 3 florals together just blend beautifully and bring in that really lovely feminine touch. Then in the base, cedarwood, tonka bean, vanilla, and musk. I do think the musk does something beautiful in here. It makes this very soft, a little fluffy, really kind of fills the air beautifully. I love how musk makes fragrance kind of project off of you and play in the air, and that musk does something really beautiful in here. And it's with that vanilla that is so good. There's the perfect amount of sweetness in here. I would call this a sweet fragrance, but it's not candy sweet, it's not syrup sweet, it's beautiful, soft, sweet. See, this is the type of fragrance that I could wear to work and absolutely feel like just, I'm here to take on the day. And then I could also wear this to a very elegant, elevated event like a wedding, maybe bride or mother of the bride or bridesmaid. Like, this is really classy. I almost feel like, though, might be kind of a risk if you're not the bride, because depending on what she's wearing, I think you could be the showstopper in this. Like, I feel like this will get people's attention, but I also think it has a very likable aspect, and that is something I look for when I spend my very hard-earned money on a niche fragrance that is a bit pricey. Okay, this is pricey. I need it to be something likable and wearable, and I put this in that category. All right, guys, that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and as always, please try to stay positive, because at the end of the day, that is truly all we can try to do. And if you are in the KC Metro, make sure you stop by and check out H Bath Perfumer inside George Lifestyle at the Crestwood Shops, because what an awesome fragrance experience. And I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah. Bye-bye.